The deadline to get a real ID is now just 1 week away. Millions of Californians are still without theirs. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Chiquetto. The Real ID is a more secure form of identification, and it will be required for all domestic flights starting on May 7th. San Diego International is already warning all passengers flying that day to be prepared for possible delays. But what if you still don't have your Real ID?
CBS 8's Richard Allen is here with more on what alternatives are allowed and what to expect if you have none of those other options. Richard?
And Carlo and Marcella, despite several deadline extensions, right now only about 55% of Californians have their Real ID in hand, according to CBS News. And if you haven't started to apply for one yet, chances are slim you'll be able to get one in time for next Wednesday's deadline. But that does not necessarily mean that you'll be grounded from flying.
Know what it is.
For some travelers, the Real ID and the need to get one is news.
No, I'm learning about it today, so I got to get on that.
While for others,
I don't know anybody with one. Do you?
getting one is turning into a hassle. Adam Benzion has recently tried to apply but is running into bureaucratic roadblocks.
They said, actually, there's a wait list. We'll let you know. So now I'm traveling with a passport because I'm worried. You know, am I going to get stuck? I'm not on board a flight.
San Diego International, which has more than 40,000 departing passengers every day, is already putting those travelers on alert, making sure they arrive early for their flight on May 7th with their ID and to also expect possible delays.
I think there's going to be an extension. They're not going to roll this out. It's impossible.
But the TSA says no more extensions. So if you don't have the Real ID by May 7th, what are your options? There are a number of alternatives beyond your state-issued license or ID card, including a U.S. passport, Department of Homeland Security trusted traveler cards like Global Entry, and active duty and retired military IDs, according to the TSA.
Everybody is responsible for presenting the proper travel documents when they come to the checkpoint.
And if you don't have a compliant ID come May 7th?
Well, there's going to be a phased approach of enforcement, but people will experience travel delays.
Along with delays, those passengers can also expect additional screenings and the possibility of not being allowed in the security checkpoint, meaning not being allowed to fly.
I'm surprised so many people don't have it or don't even know what it's about.
Deidre Day got her Real ID 2 years ago.
It was pretty easy. You had to just get all your documents together beforehand.
And for a full list of acceptable alternatives to the Real ID while you're still working on getting yours, just go to CBS8.com, click on the online version of this story.
And Richard, what documents do you actually need to apply for the Real ID?
Well, it's sort of a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
You need one proof of ID, like your passport or birth certificate. You need one proof of your Social Security card or W-2 form. And then you need two proofs of residency, like a bank statement, your SDG&E bill, your vehicle registration. And then a lot of that, you can just start the application process online, make your appointment with the DMV online. But then, of course, you have to show up to the DMV in person. A lot of people doing that right now at the 11th hour.
Yeah, if you procrastinate, you may pay the price next week.
Absolutely, yeah. Be prepared.
I've also heard for women, if you're now married,
Yes.
sometimes you need to bring a marriage license.
You do, yeah. You really need to be armed with your documents.
If your last name is different. All right, thanks so much, Richard.
Thank you.